All right, welcome back to the YANADAMEEN GODCAST. I am Lord Jamar.
Digga.
Black Belushi.
Black Belushi. I should start getting used to that roll call thing.
Come on, man.
Okay, the blackness of Belushi.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Yeah, I got it.
So we back, and I said when we come back, we're going to talk about the new South African president who wants to return the land from the whites back to black South Africa.
That's deep. Let's give him applause.
Now wait.
Let's give him a round.
Does it say what parts?
What parts?
Yeah, it's kind of like a chicken, you know, like if you get the chicken and they give you the parts that you don't want, like the elbow of the
Right.
wing.
Is he going to try to give them the poorest part of the planet Earth and
yeah.
keep the best part for himself?
Yes.
See, that's something that's in our lessons.
That's the question to ask.
Well, first of all, black South Africans are 79% of the population, yet they own only 1.2% of the rural land.
That's crazy.
1.2% of the rural land. The South Africa's newest president, Cyril Ramaphosa, has promised to return the land owned by whites to black South Africans. This land distribution program, said the newly sworn-in president, would be done through expropriation without compensation. So he's straight doing some white man shit. He's doing what white people have done to black people systematically whenever they got into a land, which is to expropriate that land without compensation. Get the fuck out of here. Or if they do compensate, it's a bullshit, inadequate compensation. You know, we're going to get Manhattan for some mirrors and some combs and beads and shit like that.
No, like the Brooklyn Bridge trade, what they do with Indians, like here, pound of feathers.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, so they're going to do that in order to accelerate the redistribution of land of black South Africans, said President Ramaphosa. It says, according to a recent land audit report, black South Africans, or 79% of the population, only own 1.2% of the rural land in the country. Meanwhile, the white people in the country only represent 9% of the population and own 23.6% of its rural land and 11.4% of land in towns and cities.
In other words, you guys.
So what's happening with the rural land?
You don't
Farming
own shit.
and
That's basically what he's saying. You guys own shit.
Shit, a lot of times the rural land ain't shit happening on the rural land.
right. It's just land.
Yeah, it's just land. They struggling out there. Though a lot of times, you know.
A couple of Chinese restaurants.
I mean, maybe some of it,
you know.
I mean, South Africa is a very beautiful place. I've never been there yet. Hint, hint. Y'all need to get us out there. But, you know, so I know there is like rural, where rural could mean maybe a beautiful, you know, lush, where you might see animals, but then it also might be a rural, like, you know,
forest.
yeah, very dusty, dirty road with a bunch of shacks on it. So it all depends.
But
it's still land.
basically,
we only own 1% of all of that.
It's still land, you know.
Now, Robert Mugabe did try to do something like this in the 90s and 2000s, and it led to an economic downturn with food production plummeting in the country at the time. Now, your man Ramaphosa said he's assured that they're dealing with the complex matters and to not let the mistakes of the past, you know, happen.
See,
again.
that's why I asked, like, what's happening with that land, because although it sounds great in theory, if we put all that land, you know, back into the hands of people that are not experienced or you know, really just have no idea what to do with it, you know, you don't necessarily want to see it depreciate.
Well,
either.
see, but a lot of times it's us. First of all,
It's a great concept.
We
though.
know what to do with land.
But it's almost like just picture this. Just imagine like in real life, we all got our reparations back. Like just imagine every black person in America right now got everything that was coming to them. You know.
You'd see a 2-year-old with a mouthful of gold.
It's like, right. I think along with that, there has to be some sort of conditioning. Like you really have to be prepared.
People don't know how to deal with all money at once.
Even when I went away to boarding school, you know, there are arguments now, like, you know, this is great, you know, giving these black children in the inner city the opportunity to afford this higher education. But in real life, we're just thrusted in a dorm room with a bunch of rich white girls, and it's like it's more than just opportunity. It takes a certain mental conditioning and preparation to deal with that. And if you're not, you know, it may not necessarily be a good thing. Like, you know, who's to say I wouldn't have been better off in a black boarding school or you know what I mean?
That's called the token experience.
It was, and it was an experience. It was an experience. I mean, you know, here I am, you know, with my 25-cent bag of barbecue potato chips and you know, used to stopping at the candy truck on the way home from school every day. My mama playing disco albums, but I have a roommate who's like getting flown into school on a helicopter. It's just, you know, sometimes those you get.
Wait, who the fuck getting flown to school in a helicopter?
My freshman roommate was a princess in Nepal.
Damn.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm Rashia Fisher from Newark, New Jersey.
Do you still have her number? I'd like to crown her.
I'm this little black girl from Brick City, New Jersey, trying to be a rapper.
And you going to school with broads that's getting dropped off
in
helicopters. Please, you need to pass me her number.
And my roommate is a princess
reunion.
in Nepal, so you know that. But
I think they say Nepal.
Nepal.
Yeah, well, I'll be Nepaling.
Tomato. The bitch was rich. Fuck her and Nepal. Paul.
I'll be Nepaled and appalled if I don't get her number.
But basically,
get with princess.
Basically, you know, if this happens, I just hope along with that, I hope they don't just dump a bunch of land, you know, into people's hands. Like, I hope there comes like a conditioning process as well.
Absolutely, it has to be, you know,
systematically
done correctly, and it can't be just about we're just giving the land away to everybody. It has to be distributed equitably and.
But I'm curious to follow that. I want to see where
you can get the land, but you get its shareholdings. Okay.
But now I'm curious if any of these motherfucking white people's gonna try to like poison the land.
I was about to say,
you understand?
They're not giving it up without a fight.
Exactly. Are we gonna give this up without a fight?
Some of them blackface.
Or are we gonna fucking be like, I'll be out, but I'm gonna fucking like literally poison the land? Like, you could do that. Like, you can inject some shit into the soil that'll fuck this shit up for, you know, 20 years to come type of shit. They know what the fuck
like a
they
desert. It's like all the soil will dry.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway.
Interesting.
So
congratulations.
Did you know
you got a new shitting pond? That's what they're giving you.
Did you know for this week, my man Harold actually brought this to me. Do you know, first of all, do you drink Jack Daniels? Anybody drink Jack Daniels?
Jack and Coke. Jack and Coke.
I drink it sometimes.
No, that's my
eat
it on
second.
steak and shit like that. Yeah.
If I go somewhere and they tell me they ain't got no cognac, because I drink like Remy and Henny and Coke, Remy and Coke. That's my shit. You know what I mean? And plenty of smoke. That's my shit.
I think I went through a phase of whiskey sours in my 20s. Going to the club.
So when I go there and they tell me they ain't got that, my runner up is Jack and Coke. Now, it turns out Jack Daniels is the best selling whiskey in the world. Did you know that?
Makes sense. Definitely the most.
When you think of a whiskey, you kind of think of Jack.
That's the first thing that comes to mind.
The cover looks like a racist black and white silent movie. So
well, do you know the name? Do you know the name Nearest Green?
I know a guy who sells weed, and that's the nearest green, but I never
The nearest green.
The nearest guy with green to you. No, not nearest, but nearest. Nearest green is this week's Did You Know?
Please expound, Brother Jay.
Well, nearest green turns out to be a slave or an ex-slave who Uncle Nearest actually taught his protege, Jasper Daniels, old Jack Daniel,
Damn, his name is Jasper, though?
how to make whiskey.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Yeah, Jasper was his Jack was his nickname of Jasper, and I mean literally, Jasper the white boy was his student when it comes to making whiskey. So this white boy sat up under this black man, this slave, and learned the art of making Tennessee whiskey. Here we are. So many years later, whatever the case may be, we've all heard it. We've all heard of Jack Daniels, but none of us have never heard of Nearest Green.
Never.
Maybe she was doing a documentary or something like that and brought this to the forefront. And apparently,
What's their
the
cut?
makers of Jack Daniels is now acknowledging this, that yes, Nearest Green did teach old Jasper how to make whiskey, and
I can imagine.
you
So,
really
so
are.
you know the saying, behind every great man is a great woman. So now we can comfortably say behind every great white idea was a slave.
Well, no, behind every
A black
great,
man. behind every
white
great invention
idea
was a black man.
is not an idea at all. Well, yeah, I'd like to see if does this family get some sort of Jack Daniels reparations as far as retroactive?
You get
like we acknowledge
a jug of
that
whiskey and shirts for you and your babies.
Right. Because we acknowledge that we wouldn't have this empire were it not for the knowledge bestowed upon, our forefather by your forefather. So,
You want to share? I'll share my Durango with you. That's what I'll do. You ain't getting to share this money. Like, listen, they're not giving him nothing, not a dime. Because he could be like, well,
I think they're going to give him his own whiskey now, though.
They're
They're gonna have his own, like I said, I called it before, rumperations. Is that what it's called? Because I don't know what's the whiskey gonna be called. You got me? That's what it's gonna be called. Like, what's the name of the whiskey?
You got me.
the new liquor, Dignity. Like, what are you gonna call it after you guys got robbed?
I was gonna say, you know what? I don't know if getting your own whiskey is good
underneath them, like. Yeah, we know we robbed.
Rappers are getting their own liquor.
Exactly.
So is that really like a...
Diddy's like, oh, I've been did that.
Yeah, like, is that a real...
This motherfucker had to wait since slavery, and finally he get his own liquor.
Motherfucker, they should make a drink that cures hangovers. They'll make a killing with that. Then, but not have your own thing.
But honestly, the fact that they're even acknowledging it, I think they might have something planned for
it's because
them,
they running out of ideas, so they want to go back to the fountain tap they had and be like, give them their own little piss water as long as they help us out. Like that's
all right. So listen, we got 5 minutes. Let's talk about some internet dumb shit real quick. Schizo, you have a story that you want to bring to the table?
5 minutes enough. I think it's more than that.
Listen,
and we're
you're gonna fit it into 5 minutes.
I'm gonna ask Rod Digger about this. Have you heard the Wendy's mixtape?
The Wendy's mixtape.
Wendy's, the food.
Oh yes.
Came out with a mixtape.
Yeah, I didn't.
Her name is Queen Wendy.
I didn't hear the tape from start to finish.
It's called We Beefin'?
I didn't hear it from start to finish, but I've been seeing things online.
You heard Rest in Grease? That's one of the actual names.
No, I didn't hear that one.
I'm not gonna lie, the production on it.
Like a Wendy's mixtape. This is how commercialized hip hop has got.
The production
there's
is
a
amazing.
Wendy's mixtape.
It actually is pretty amazing. Honestly,
and it's good. You're telling me it's good.
I'll be honest with you. Out of all the hip hop, best mixtape I've heard all year.
Cold with the flows, but the meat ain't frosty. Say I'm too smug, but I can't keep them off me. We need this thing, you can see him too saucy. Hashtag legend, I can't keep these fakes up off me.
Wow.
I've actually heard good things about it. Somebody tagged me
Now
about getting in on it. I
Best, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Now and then, Hamburger Helper.
I was gonna
came
say,
out
who
with a
else got
mixtape.
one?
Hamburger Helper came out with a mixtape. It's called Watch the Stove, and they got a song called Whipping It, which sounds like they're making drugs, but
I love it.
It's about making food.
I've been in the kitchen, whipping. I've been chefing, mix it with my left hand. Water whipping and I'm stirring. Y'all want beef and I'ma serve it. Water whipping and I'm stirring. Y'all want beef and I'ma serve it.
Now here's what I propose. I propose we make a mixtape and call it the Crown Fry Royal mixtape, and call it Hold the Crown. And then in the videos, we just throw like crown fried chicken at all like the McDonald's and Wendy workers and stuff like that. We'll make a killing. Because like, what the fuck is hip hop now? What is it now? What is it? I think it became saturated after they started incorporating bling bling. Once they started incorporating bling bling, it became over. I see a Kmart commercial, bling bling. I'm like, nah, I don't want to deal with this.
I'll be honest. As much as I try to stay in the loop of things, I really just don't acknowledge stuff that I just don't consider real. Like I would just prefer to stay in my bubble of what I believe hip hop is supposed to be and will always be to me. So I try not to, get caught up in stuff going on outside of the bubble. But somebody did tag me about that Wendy's mixtape.
Yes, do listen to it. Like I said, the hottest mixtape right now, better than all these mumble rappers that sound like they have marshmallows in their mouth trying to speak words.
I ain't heard this shit. I almost would feel stupid like, yo, my nigga.
Shit hard.
Yo, you heard that Hamburger Helper mixtape?
Nah, Hamburger, yo, there's only one track on
like,
that.
yo.
But that
Yo, that shit is bomb.
And Wendy's joint is all right.
Yo.
For fat motherfuckers.
That beef with the seasoning,
Like
that beef with the seasoning song?
The follow-up single,
Beef with the
Double Stack?
seasoning? That's that shit.
No, the follow-up single is 444.
4 for 4? I was about to say 4 for 4. Oh,
Yep,
wait.
see?
I don't know. I'm intrigued now.
She said, I'm intrigued.
4 for 4, that lick the best. 4 for 4, forget the rest. 4 for 4, you getting blessed. Red hair with some pigtails, better check the score of these meals sell. Now that's better, I'm so clever, my bar's chilly, better grab a sweater. You block my tweets, can't squash the beef, now you check my feet and your eyes swelling. How you love that? These straight facts, trying to take the swag, but we don't want it back.
Well, listen.
Yeah, go listen to that.
Listen, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk about real quick the Roxanne Shante movie.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, we're going to go on IG Live, and we're all going to talk about it. We're going to see how we feel about it, how the people felt about it. When we come back. Peace. It's the absence of all confusion. United we stand, divided we fall. 2 fingers together is the real peace sign, y'all. Brand Nubian peace gear. Hoodies. T-shirts. Snapbacks. Available at hoodcheese.com. Get yours today.